What's up guys, it's Sarah, the Urban Cowgirl. It's late August and you know what? Everyone else, you're looking forward to fall. Guess what we're looking forward to? Football season! I have become obsessed with the idea of tailgate food, and something that occurred to me I thought would be really cool would be lobster nachos. So I'm gonna do a lobster nacho for you today. It's gonna have a queso sauce, classic Pico De Gallo, and a mango habanero vinaigrette. We're gonna top it off with chunks of lobster. You're not gonna wanna miss this. So we're gonna start off with this perfect queso. And if there's anything I get excited about, it's queso. So we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of butter, just cut that up and we'll put that in our pan. And we'll start by dicing up 1 small onion. And then we're gonna take 2 jalapenos and we're gonna small dice them. So we'll cook this down for about 2 minutes just to soften the vegetables. And then we're just gonna add 1 cup of half and half. So this is the American cheese that I bought. Now I got this from the deli and I just had them whack me off part of that log. I didn't ask for slices, and this certainly isn't anything like Velveeta. It is gonna be really creamy and it's gonna melt perfectly into the mixture of the vegetable and the half and half without us having to make a roux. And then we'll add it to the pan and season it with some lime juice. Okay, this is so perfect. This is how queso should look, at least where I'm from. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna set it aside while we make the rest of the ingredients. Okay guys, now I'm gonna show you how to make my pico. I love this pico because it uses cherry tomatoes, which is what you should always be using to make Pico De Gallo or guacamole. Why? Because all that flavor is punched in here and there's very little of that tomato water that sort of dilutes everything. Okay, so now I just have a red onion, and I tend to use white onion when I'm cooking something, but the red onion is a little sweeter and I like it in Pico De Gallo. So now, of course, no pico would be complete without some cilantro, and I just use, you know, what would look like about 2 tablespoons. I certainly chop up fresh cilantro for the queso or the nachos anyway, but this is just for our pico, and so we want it to be as small as we can get it. Now we're gonna use a little bit of salt to bring out all of those flavors. It's also gonna bring out a little bit of moisture and just a little touch of grapeseed oil. I really like how shiny it is. It gives, yeah, just a little bit of moisture to kind of mix everything together. And then some lime juice, of course, classic for Pico De Gallo. You can start with half a lime and then see how it tastes. Okay. So we'll set these aside and we'll get started on the lobster. Okay, so next we're gonna do our mango sauce. And so this is how I'm gonna teach you to work with these. We'll just cut this side off and then we're just gonna peel it. We're gonna get all that skin off. You can use a knife to do this too, but I find that you lose a lot of the fruit. It's gonna be really squishy, and that's how you know that it's gonna be very flavorful. Okay, so now the mango can just be rough chopped. This is gonna go into a pot and it's destined for the blender, so don't worry about making it super pretty. We just wanna be able to cook it just for a moment. So we'll just set this aside. Here's our habanero. Don't get nervous with me, okay? I'm gonna show you how to work with this where you don't have to be afraid of it. It's kind of like, you know where the danger lies, so you protect yourself. So you can use gloves. I'm not going to, but I am gonna wash my hands right as soon as I'm done with it. I'm just gonna cut off the tail and then cut it in half. And I like spicy, but I really like the fruity fragrance of a habanero. So I'm just gonna cut out some of the seeds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add these to the same bowl, oops, as the mango, and then I am going to immediately wash my hands very well. It's actually easier to peel ginger with a spoon than it is with a vegetable peeler. A little bit in here. Now we're just gonna chop up half of a white onion. Okay, now that we've got the onion chopped, I'm gonna go ahead and start my pan here on like a medium-high heat and add just a little bit of oil. And then I'm gonna take the onion and go ahead and toss it in there with just a little bit of salt. Then I will go ahead and add some garlic. Then we'll go ahead and add the mango. Here's some ginger. And I'm just gonna finish it off with some white wine vinegar and the juice of half a lime. Okay, it looks really good. It's boiled down just a little bit to concentrate the flavors and marry all those things together. And we're just gonna blend it in the blender. So they have these at taco shops everywhere, right? And taco trucks. And I like to put my sauce in there because this is exactly the way you wanna, be able to use it, just to squeeze it out. And they're really cheap. These are like $1. So here's our lobster tails. I just like to work with lobster tails because it's a little bit easier to work with. So I'm just cutting off this tail. We're just trying to get to that meat on the inside. So I'm just gonna take the meat now, throw it in a pan with some butter and cook them really fast. It's brown butter. It's our favorite butter. Oh my God, that smells good. And then look what I'll do. I'm gonna take just a tiny pinch of lime and season it. Okay, so finally it's the time to assemble these. I've got everything ready for us. This is the white queso, which I've gone ahead and warmed back up. I've got some black beans. They just came out of the can and I washed them, put them in a bowl. Our cooked lobster, and then the Pico De Gallo that we made earlier. And I'm gonna drizzle these blue corn chips. I love the look of the blue corn chips with the white queso. Then I'm gonna sprinkle on a little bit of black beans. And then, of course, our Pico De Gallo. This has been marinating for a long time. Oh my God, this is gonna be the best Pico De Gallo of the year. I can already tell because the tomatoes are the best time of the year right now. Yay. And then our star ingredient, those 3 lobster tails that we cooked down in butter. They're a little bit cool now, so I'm just gonna spread them around. You can actually chop these more if you like, but I love to get these big morsels of lobster. What could be more decadent than that? If you like some jalapeno slices, this would be the time to add them. So now we're just gonna put these under a broiler set on high. They're not gonna cook very long. They only need about four minutes maybe, and you should stay close by because everything's already cooked. We just wanna heat it all up together and make it look really ooey gooey. Okay guys, the lobster nachos are born. We just have a couple things I'm gonna do to them. Last minute, I like to add some stuff that I want to be cool. I don't want it to be hot. This is going to be really warm and gooey, but I'm going to put a little bit of sour cream on top. And then I'm going to add the mango vinaigrette that we made. And this is queso fresco. It's a completely different cheese. It's like a crumbling cheese that I always like to put on top. It's soft and milky, springy like a sponge. Oh my God, it's just great on top of Tex-Mex dishes for a little bit of fresh cheese flavor. And then the rest is really up to you. If you want to add some more cilantro, I always like fresh cilantro on everything. So we'll just dice a little bit of that up in some big slices. So there you go. It didn't occur to me before now that lobster nachos would be the perfect game day treat, but I'm so glad that it did. You know, guys, these nachos are so perfect because they're something that we're so comfortable with, something that we eat all fall, and then you've just topped them with something a little decadent and special, something with dazzle, and that's what Urban Cowgirl is all about. Now, you can get the recipe on urbancowgirllife.com. If there's any videos that you want to see, leave in the comments what you're interested in. I read all of them. I'm here every Friday, and I'll see you next week. Bye.